In this video, I'm going to teach you how to handle an emotionally charged negotiation. Now, here's the thing. Most of the time, negotiations are about more than just money. It's not like you sit at the table with someone and it's all numbers and spreadsheets. No. Oftentimes, there are emotions involved in any given negotiation, and sometimes those emotions can get the best of us. I've had this happen to me many times, where I've seen negotiators who have lost sight of the big picture because they're focused too much on the emotional aspect of things. So let's talk about how to avoid that from happening to you. If you want to be a great negotiator, you have to understand that every single person has a different emotional makeup. You have to know how to read people and their emotions. And then you also need to know how to control your own emotions. Because if you lose control of your emotions at the negotiating table, you will lose the negotiation 100% of the time. Now, the reason why I say that is because oftentimes when we get really emotionally charged, we don't think clearly, and therefore we make bad decisions. We'll take bad deals and we'll do things that are detrimental to our long-term goals. So today, I want to share with you 6 tips that will help you stay level-headed during a heated negotiation. Let's go for a quick swim. Number 1, look for warning signs. Now, everyone is different, and we all get triggered by different things. For some people, they might get really angry if you question their motives. But for other people, they get really angry if you attack their competence or their expertise. So it's important to pay attention to the other party and look for these warning signs. If you notice that they're getting agitated, they're starting to use a harsh tone, they're starting to raise their voice, that's a warning sign that you should dial it down. Now, the last thing you want to do is escalate the situation. You don't want to keep pushing someone's emotional buttons because eventually they might lash out and say things like, you know what, screw you, I'm done. Then you don't want that to happen because now the deal is dead. So it's important to recognize those warning signs early on so that way you can adjust your approach and make sure that the conversation does not become overly emotional. Number 2, take a break. Sometimes it's better to take a break and come back to the table with a fresh perspective, rather than trying to push through and force a resolution. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I think we're both really passionate about this issue and I respect that, but I think we need to take a step back and come back to it with a fresh perspective. When you take a break, it gives you an opportunity to cool off and think more clearly. During that time away from the table, you can reflect on the issues, consider different perspectives, and think about potential solutions that might work for everyone involved. Remember that taking a break is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it shows maturity and professionalism. It demonstrates that you're willing to take the time necessary to find a solution that works for everyone. Number 3, focus on interests, not positions. Now, one of the most important things that you can do to prevent emotions from taking over a negotiation is to focus on interests, not positions. What I mean by that? Well, here's an example. Number 4, ask open-ended questions. Now, asking open-ended questions can help you gain a deeper understanding of the other party's position and identify areas of common interest. By asking open-ended questions, you encourage the other party to explain their perspective and rationale behind their demands. This can help you build empathy and understanding, which can lead to a more collaborative negotiation process. One way to ask open-ended questions is to use phrases like, "Can you tell me more about that?" Or, "What do you mean by that?" Or, "How does that impact your decision?" And one benefit of using these types of questions is that they demonstrate that you're genuinely interested in the other party's perspective. This can help build rapport and establish a connection, which can lead to a more positive negotiation experience. Additionally, asking open-ended questions allows you to gather information and assess the other party's priorities and interests. This can help you identify areas of common ground and potential compromises, which is essential for reaching a mutually acceptable agreement. Remember, knowledge is power, and having a deep understanding of the other party's position is crucial for effective negotiation. So ask open-ended questions, listen actively, and use what you learn to develop a strategy that meets your objectives while also taking the other party's interests into account. Number 5, be aware of your body language. Now, body language can speak volumes about how you're feeling, even if you're trying to hide it. That's why it's important to be aware of your body language during a negotiation. Pay attention to your posture, facial expressions, and hand gestures, as they can convey your emotions and influence how the other party perceives you. For example, maintaining good eye contact can show confidence and engagement, while avoiding prolonged eye contact can be seen as a lack of interest or dishonesty. Similarly, a firm handshake can convey assertiveness, while a weak handshake may be perceived as insecurity. Open body language, such as uncrossing your arms and legs, can signal openness and willingness to collaborate, while closed body language may suggest defensiveness or a lack of trust. Number 6, don't take it personally. Now, this is probably the hardest one on the list, but it's also the most important one. Don't take it personally if the other party becomes emotional during a negotiation. Remember that everyone is different and has a unique emotional makeup. They may be stressed, tired, or hungry, which can contribute to their emotional state. Additionally, they may have a different personality type or communication style, which can affect how they express themselves. It's important not to let your own emotions get the better of you and respond in kind. Instead, remain calm and professional and try to see things from their perspective. Remember that the goal is to reach an agreement that works for both parties. So don't let your ego or pride get in the way. Take a deep breath, listen actively, and try to understand their point of view. By remaining level-headed and empathetic, you'll be able to navigate the situation successfully and reach a mutually beneficial outcome. Well, there you have it. 6 tips that will help you stay level-headed during a heated negotiation. Remember, it's not always about the numbers on the table. It's about building relationships and finding solutions that work for everyone involved. So, the next time you find yourself in a tough negotiation, take a deep breath, stay calm, and focus on the bigger picture. You'll be glad you did. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video.